everybody. Well, thank you for having me here tonight. Tonight I'm going to speak about how to build a personal longevity strategy. First of all, I'd like to give you a bit of an overview. What we are doing, Forever Healthy, is a private, non-profit initiative, and our mission is to enable people to vastly extend their healthy lifespan and to be part of the first generation that cures aging. So before we start about how to implement a strategy, I'd like to give you a bit of context, what's going on in the hardcore world of science right now in terms of rejuvenation biotechnology. Let's for a moment look into the future and just imagine we could immediately improve our health and well-being. Let's imagine we could directly reverse chronic diseases like heart disease, cardiovascular disease, Alzheimer's, age diabetes. And just for a moment, let's imagine that at the age of 70 years old, we would just be as healthy, fit, and good-looking as we were at the age of 30 years. Let's imagine we could stay free for the diseases of old age for all of our lives. And last of all, let's imagine we could extend our healthy, youthful lifespan for decades or even hundreds of years. So I'm here to tell you this is not science fiction anymore, it's really within our reach. There is an incredible scientific revolution going on right now that's mostly totally hidden from the general public, and it's a threefold revolution. First of all, there's a vast amount, unfortunately, of mostly unused medical and technological knowledge that we could use to immediately improve our health and healthy lifespan. The second part of that revolution is there are new drugs and therapies under development that might become available in the next few years that will already allow us to significantly slow down our aging process and even reverse part of our aging process, such as plasma, young plasma transfer, the removal of senescent cells, stem cell therapies, and regrow and in vitro regrowth of new organs. And then the third component, which might sound like science fiction to somebody who's not close to that field of science, but actually if you are into rejuvenation biotech science, it is not a question anymore if we will be able to get aging under full medical control, but when it will happen and whether it will happen fast enough for everybody in this room. And this is going to happen by molecular and cellular repair of the damage that the body does by itself just by being in operation, which is the root cause of aging. So the big question is, if this is the situation, how do we make it happen for us so that we can really benefit from this incredible opportunity? So yeah, how do we make it happen for us? I've brought a slide with me. What you see here is you can see it's the survival curve of a species. In this particular case, it's the human species, but you could also view it as the individual health curve of an average human being. So what it says, until we are 30, we are in pretty good shape. At 65, our health has already declined quite a bit, and the age of 120, nobody lives longer than that. That's the maximum health span that our species can achieve if we are happy. So in order to make it happen, so the second thing, the yellow one, that's the rate of technological progress. So in this picture we see, okay, we age, but our age reversal technology is not fast, is not there to really do any good to us. So what we want to achieve is we want to achieve two things. We want to bring the future to us, so we want to accelerate the development of these rejuvenation biotech technologies, of these molecular and cellular repair technologies. And on the other hand, we want to bring ourselves to the future, So we want to stay as healthy as possible for as long as possible so that we can benefit at a maximum way of these coming technologies in the future. So what we at Forever Healthy, at the Forever Healthy Foundation do, we also have a dual strategy to achieve that. On the one hand, regarding the future, the acceleration of rejuvenation biotech, we are funding, right now we are funding 6 research projects that aim at the molecular and cellular repair of the damage that the body and the metabolism does to itself. And we are complementary, we are also funding and supporting startups that turn these technologies, that basic research, into the first therapies. And we have already funded 2 startups that actually develop repair technologies on the cellular level. And one of these repair technologies is the clearance of senescent cells. And our technology, for example, that one of the startups is doing is in an animal trial, we could extend the healthy lifespan of rodents by an average of 25%. So we were able to rejuvenate, not only extend the old age, but really rejuvenate the animal after the treatment. Everything worked like a 25% younger animal. So we want to bring the future to us. But on the other hand, the future is not here yet. So we, as people, we have to make sure that we are still there and not dead of cancer or aged beyond repair when the new technologies arrive. So we want to use all technology that is available today to extend our healthy lifespan as much as possible. And actually, there's a lot that we can do today, but there's a big but. It's vast vast amount of unused medical knowledge, but unfortunately, it's extremely spread out over experts, special interest groups, various news feeds, blogs, books, you name it. Yeah. So the conference is a very good example. We got a lot of information here, but there's no coherent way to consume it. A lot of that advanced knowledge is buried in medical research. PubMed is a great resource. Millions of research papers. A lot of new stuff is published every day, and it's virtually impossible to gather a holistic overview, to gather holistically information and make informed decisions on what really to do to stay healthy. To give you a short overview what the potential knowledge pool is that we could use to keep ourselves healthy, you see that on that slide. It starts with evolutionary health, that is, and functional medicine, that's like pulling in the diagnosis plug into the body, measuring all blood values, stool samples, urine, neurotransmitters, whatever, and balancing the body. Evolutionary health, it starts with nutrition, detoxification, mental well-being, all that stuff. That's heard a lot of that today. It's about genetics, it's about epigenetics, the expression of our genes. It's medical research as a resource. There are specialized communities, for example, for a special genetic mutation that one might have, like MTHFR, that impairs methylation. There's dedicated communities where it's discussed how do I change my lifestyle, which supplements should I take. There's dedicated life extension research going on that we could pull information out. There's psychology and philosophy, because our mental state, our mental attitude towards things can directly influence our health. There are a lot of books on self-improvement, meditation, and how to change our attitude towards the world. Then there's the whole field of biohacking. We heard a lot of that stuff today, nootropics, the quantified self movement that allows us to measure ourselves and to get information about the state of our body and where we could improve. There's the science, the whole area of supplements. We heard about that as well today. That's really deep, which supplements to take, what can I do to improve my health, to improve my long-term outlook, to keep my brain healthy, to keep my body healthy. There's nutritional science, there's sports nutrition that we can draw on, professional training, which way to keep the body physically active and do that in the best possible, most efficient way. And then there's the whole field of checkup medicine that allows us to preemptively discover if something goes wrong in our body. So it's a huge knowledge pool. And what always amazed me is that there's not a single place in the internet where I can go to and just look up what should I do to stay healthy. So it's really hard to get that information. And I've decided to change that, and this is why I founded Forever Healthy. And we decided to change this by developing the most effective personal health and longevity strategy, and create that, apply it to ourselves, and constantly update it so that I knew at every given point in time I do the best that I can possibly do to the current state of knowledge. So we started researching on this best possible longevity strategy. First of all, it was clear it had to be a holistic approach. So it won't keep you healthy if you have 10 pillars on which your health resides, like physical activity, nutrition, functional medicine, balancing your body, your genetics, advanced stuff that you could do, slow down aging, whatever. If you just focus on a single area of interest, like optimizing your nutrition, and you don't detox your body. So first of all, we have to know which are the 10 pillars, or 12, or how many are there, and then we have to make educated decisions on where to spread our energy. So we thought it would be a very good idea to go out in the world and take all the leading knowledge that's there and harmonize it and put it in one single accessible place, in one coherent way, so that I could really look it up and turn that knowledge into actionable information. Because information that I can't act upon is useless. So if I just know facts, but I can't make a decision on, do I take that supplement? How do I change my diet? What's the right meditation for me? If I can't make this decision, it's useless for me. So we want to turn this knowledge into actual information. And the goal is to empower educated decisions. Each one of us, to stay healthy, we have to make educated decisions for ourselves on what diet do I take, and all the 10 pillars, 15 pillars, we have to make the decision by ourselves. No doctor, nobody can do this for us. So what I wanted to have, and what I think we all need, is an information, a knowledge base that allows us to make these educated decisions on what to do to stay healthy. Oops, how do I get it back? Okay, so in order to make it as easy as possible to have that combined knowledge, for us it should be easy to implement step by step, because it's a vast amount of knowledge. It's an enormous task to stay healthy and cover all the bases. So I wanted to have it easy to implement in a step-by-step fashion. So do the first step, then do the second step, then do the third step, so I'm not overwhelmed in the stuff that I'm doing. The second criteria was I wanted to have as much do-it-yourself as possible. I wanted to have want to be as little, to rely as little as possible on doctors or any external services. So I wanted to do all the things that I could do by myself, I want to do by myself. And then there are certain services that I can't do by myself, and unfortunately, there's not a service company or a doctor, or call it whatever, where I can go to and say, keep me healthy, and these guys really know what to do. That's my experience. That company is not out there, and I tried some of the best life extension doctors that are in the world. So the strategy has to map to existing medical services, and I currently employ 3 or 4 different medical service providers. Somebody knows a lot about hormones, the next one knows something about heavy metal detoxification, somebody is very good in functional medicine, somebody else is very good in like sports nutrition, but there's no service company that does it all. So we have to map our service to the individual service providers in order to get the full service. And the knowledge base should also allow us to have eye-level discussions with our service providers, because in these days where we have so much knowledge out there, my experience is, and I think a lot of people who try to keep themselves healthy share that, there's no doctor that knows it all. And you have to really, when you talk to your doctor, you have to know whether your doctor's telling you the real stuff or he's bullshitting or just making stuff up, which happens quite a lot. So I want to have the information base that if I talk to my doctor, to a specialist like a cardiologist, I want to be able to make a decision, hey, this guy is giving me the straight talk, I want to have an eye-level discussion with my doctor. So in order to break down this vast field of staying healthy, we came up with the idea to break down the whole strategy in individual building blocks. Of course, the reality is much more complex. Everything in our body interacts with everything else. My mind controls my hormones control my body, for example, my digestion, but also my gut. My gut bacteria produce hormones, and those hormones feed back to my brain. But if everything connects with everything, I can't do it step by step. So we flattened the problem, so to speak, and made it into a linear thing, and broke it down into different building blocks, starting with nutrition, which is basically a paleo-style diet. Next thing is physical activity, that's exercise, standing versus sitting, doing yoga, stretching, and all that stuff. Then we have the whole area of detoxification, how to avoid to get toxins in our body, how to get the toxins in our body out of our body. One special section is, for example, about heavy metal detox. Then there's the whole area of mental well-being, de-stressing, meditation, attitude towards life. We have a section that we call basic care. These are the basic things that we can do to keep our body healthy without even asking a doctor, like having enough fiber in our food and all these simple stuffs. Then there's a section about prevention. What can I do to change my future outlook of minimizing the possibility to get a certain disease like cancer, cardiovascular disease, or Alzheimer's? There's a large section on self-testing. Which are the things that I could test on myself? And there's quite a lot that we could do, like blood sugar and continuous blood sugar measurement. We could do genetic testing with 23andMe and also do some self-analysis in there. The whole section of supplements. Which supplements can I take to change my long-term outlook for the better? And we have a section for advanced action. This is where the real advanced stuff is, like, for example, taking metformin, which is a diabetic drug that also slows down your aging process and lowers your cancer probability, and all that stuff goes there. And then we have a section for functional medicine. This is what you do with a functional medicine provider, like pulling in the diagnostic plug, doing all the blood tests, urine testing, saliva testing, whatever you can do to detect imbalances. And then we have a layer of early detection, which is where you do MRIs, CTs, and all these special tests that try to detect diseases as early as possible. The longevity strategy is free and open source, so we publish it, we share all our knowledge with everyone out there. It's on the internet. It's continuously updated by core community members, and our long-term goal on level 2 is right now it's information and decision level. In the long term, we envision it to be also treatment level, so that's sufficient for treatment. Up to now, the whole thing was a community approach. We were a small group of people working on the whole thing, doing it in our spare time. But now we're taking it to the next level. And I have decided, on top of the strong commitment that I gave this year to support the SENS Research Foundation and research on molecular and cellular repair and startups, I've allocated the additional long-term budget and resources to hire a full-time team of 4 people to work on the longevity strategy and the knowledge base that carries the strategy and publishes it. And we are hiring. We start hiring next week. We're building a full team, working full-time on that thing. 1 product manager who is responsible for the whole team building and everything, and 3 knowledge and research specialists that do all the nitty-gritty work and like collecting the world's best know-how on the individual topics and then putting it all together and then improving the strategy. So this is where we are right now. The whole life extension strategy and all the activities of Forever Healthy and the foundation, the research projects that we support, the startups that we support, the actual technology of rejuvenation and what is already achieved. You'll find all that on our website. And yeah, that's it. Thank you so much for your attention. I think we have some time for questions.
Questions and answers? Yes, any questions? Anybody?
Okay.
Yeah, all right.
Okay. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much, Michael Greve. And ladies